effective technique that we talk about that I got from Ken Wilber and kind of probably adapted it to my own purposes in recovery. It's called 3-2-1 shadow work. And this is how I use it and how I've taught people to use it. So one of these feelings are coming up, okay? Say it's self-loathing, okay? I was like, ugh, this feel, I don't want to look at this stuff, you know, but I've learned. This is great, this is coming up, this is part of the practice. So I will do a third person view of, it's, you know, you can do it can be an image, a dragon, or whatever you want to do. In my personal work, it's always a version of myself. So I'll see self-loathing John, and I'll just, you know, whatever my body, you know, things, I'm just sitting there. I'm visualizing myself self-loathing. And as I'm watching myself in the third person, I begin to feel the feelings of self-loathing in my body. So it's just, and as I watch myself more, it just builds. And okay, I'm watching that. And so after that, I feel finished with that part, I go to a second person relationship with self-loathing John. That's where I'm talking to self-loathing John as other, as a person I can dialogue with. John, self-loathing John, yes. Why do you loathe yourself so much? Well, because I just was never enough, and I failed, and this and that. I just never seemed to blah, 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 the whole thing. And okay, and I'll talk. And it's very interesting because I find that these shadow aspects of ourselves, they really want to talk. they just love it when we start asking questions, and they'll talk your ear off. So finally, you get to the point, and usually I end up, okay, well, self-loathing John, what do you need not to loathe yourself so much? And he'll say something, well, I just need to know that I can be forgiven, that God still loves me, or, you know, that I can be filled with light and I can redeem this somehow, and that I'm essentially okay on my deepest self and all my, this, you know, whatever the answer comes up. And I say, okay, thank you. Excellent. Then okay, come on home, son. Come on home, self-loathing John. And I'll take it into my heart, into my being, the image, and I become self-loathing John. At that point, I've been paying attention to the bodily sensations as I've did the third person, looking at it, dialoguing with it, then I bring it home to the first person. And then I just sit and breathe into it and let the feelings emerge and do whatever they want, and just totally keep opening, allowing them to be whatever they want. And it shifts, it transmutes, and it releases. And it's like, all right, it's gone. And usually I find that it's, you know, in one session, sometimes you get rid of all of it. It's gone in one time, and sometimes you only get 60, 70% of it. And you have to go back and do a little more work on it. It'll come up in the future. But when you've gone, and it has to be, one of the things I've learned, it has to be more than just a cognitive thing. I mean, the 3-2-1 process is brilliant. It helps you deal with it cognitively, but it also has to be incorporated. It also has to feel the feelings in your body. Somehow, if you don't do the body part of this release stuff, it just doesn't happen. It's just a cognitive thing. So the cognitive, the 3-2-1 thing helps you really begin to feel the feelings and bring it home, and then do the release. And then you have the depth, the peace, maybe the wisdom, the joy, the new energy to go on and do other things.
That's a really great way to deal with the reorganization chaos that happens.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is when this is
fantastic.
another way of actually dealing with when this fear comes up, and that's why it's good not just to have the practice as you learn the different techniques and different practices, and some of them can be just the traditional meditation techniques that you learn from Vipassana or from Christian contemplative.
Well, that's essentially what you just described as Vipassana.
Yeah,
It's just so much more
absolutely
scientific.
It's more scientific, and it's also supercharged or on steroids. Just
Right.
works much better. So you can start working at a level that a master meditator has achieved over many years in your first 2 or 3 weeks or first few months. I mean, it just speeds up the process of this transformation and growth and healing exponentially. It's truly amazing.
Do you ever lose people because of the intensity of this? They just can't deal with it, or maybe they don't have the support group necessary, or people to talk to about what's happening.
Yeah, I think it would be if people working long distance. Anybody that I'm working with, I've never lost them, but and Bill in his early writings on the subject says, if you're going through a process and it's just getting too heavy, we'll back off for a day or two, or talk to a therapist or find some kind of support to help you through this stuff. But once you kind of get to be, competent in it, and you've done it a number of times, you start to go, hey, you realize that, man, this is the work that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And though it may seem scary, and of course the message is, oh, don't look at this, all come up, okay, great, you bracket it and you start doing the work. So you actually begin to welcome it. And you can do this work, as you get more skilled in it, not just when you're doing the binaural meditation, but as things come up during the day. You'll be driving down the road and you hear something awful in the news and you start feeling, negative feelings, or, pain or sorrow. You don't just do the unskillful things, try to ignore it, go away, think about something else, or project it out on somebody else, or go drink or do whatever, deal with it. You just allow it to be there and breathe into it. Okay, accept it and let it pass. So it really gives you a way of dealing with these emotions, and these negative emotions and repressed stuff are one of the most, the biggest barriers to sobriety, and keep people serially relapsing.